Hi, I'm Kristen Lee Sargent. This is Jazz and Juice. Welcome to Jazz and Juice. This is the place where we believe knowledge is pleasure, and we pursue that through music and wine. What could be better? If you're just joining me now for the first time, there is an article in allaboutjazz.com that's kind of a manifesto introduction to how I'd like to engage with you when it comes to these two subjects. If you have time to read it, awesome. If not, the basic idea is this. When it comes to music and wine, I think it's natural to want to put them under a microscope and study them objectively like we would something scholastic. I'm going to offer that that is less enjoyable and less thorough than really putting ourselves in the experience of this music and this wine. Not only will it lead to more enjoyment, but I think that's a better way to learn. So away we go. I chose Bordeaux and Duke Ellington to get us started because I couldn't think of two things more classic and foundational to understanding both of these worlds of jazz and wine. And I am thrilled with both of these selections because I think they're going to bring you a lot of enjoyment. Let's start with the wine. This is Chateau Mancédre Pessac-Léognan 2016. It's a Bordeaux, as you know, which means it's a blend. This one's Cabernet dominant. 60% Cabernet, 40% Merlot from the left bank. And this might be a good time to look at a map. So the wine that we're drinking today comes from Pessac-Léognan, which is number 9, right here. This entire area is known as the left bank of Bordeaux. The right bank of Bordeaux is actually all the way over here. I think it's just good to visualize that there are 3 bodies of water when we talk about these banks. The Gironde estuary leads into 2 rivers. This is the Garonne, and that's the Dordogne. So the right bank is actually the right bank of this river. The left bank is the left bank of these 2 bodies of water. We could talk about what's in the middle, but we don't have time for that right now. So let's get into the wine. So I've had some time with this wine prior to joining you today, and every time I've tasted it, if I had to think of a broad way to describe it, I'd say it's sophisticated, elegant, and has a lot of integrity. Incidentally, those are words I would use to describe Duke Ellington and his music on the whole in general. If you read the article, you would have seen that I talk about structure and how successful wine or music has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This wine absolutely has this. This is a very structural wine and takes you on a journey from the first aroma to the body of the wine on the palate to the finish, which lingers for a long time. And I'm just going to talk about one element of this wine that really jumps out at me, which is the minerality. Now, for me, there's a stony, soil that I get right away on the nose alongside the fruit. The palate is gorgeous and the fruit is certainly there, but it's almost transparent and leads right into the conclusion, which is where the tannins, the things that are drying in the grape, and this mineral aspect meet and finish together. It's really sophisticated, and that gravelly finish is something that this area of Bordeaux in particular is well known for. So the left bank is Cabernet dominant. Also, the soils are gravel heavy, and those two facts go together. They're advantageous to one another. Gravel's good for grapes for a couple of reasons. The stones reflect light back up to the grapes, helping them ripen. It keeps the soil warm, provides drainage. But that's not what I'm tasting right here. Those are all good things to know. Why do I taste gravel in the glass? There's no scientific explanation for it. That's not how plants work. They don't absorb the rock and then taste like the rock. But yet, with an amazing technique, this winemaker has created a wine that evokes a place so strongly, you don't need to have rocks in your glass to taste them. And that's kind of the magic and the poetry of wine, to my mind. Where does Duke Ellington come in on all this? Well, I picked Ad Lib on Nippon as our piece to listen to today. I hope you've had a chance to learn it. I'm going to try to be brief today so you have time to listen to this 11-minute track. It was inspired by Ellington's visits to Japan. It's a co-composition with Jimmy Hamilton, the clarinetist, who has a killing solo in the last quarter of the piece. But as you listen to the music, it absolutely evokes Japan, even if you haven't been there. It's incredible how it does that. And the reason I bring that up is because he doesn't use any traditional Japanese instruments in the orchestra. It's 1967 when this record comes out. So the Beatles have Norwegian Wood out. The Rolling Stones have Paint It Black. So there's sitars. People are using instruments from other cultures in their music. Duke does not do that. He doesn't need to, because this music evokes the place without having the place in the music. See where I'm going with that? Anyway, that's the big thought that came to me as I was enjoying both the wine and the music. And I think I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on both of these things. So this is where I invite you to comment either on the article or on this video, because I'm going to join you in a podcast next week where I have more to talk about specifically with the music. I want to talk about featured varietals and featured soloists in Duke Ellington's piece and also in Bordeaux in general. So I have that big thing on my mind, but then it's really up to you. Do you have any questions? Do you have any thoughts? Do you have anything that this whole experience has inspired? I would love to hear what you think about virtually everything. So let me know, and I will join you and continue this conversation in the podcast next week. Thank you for watching. Cheers.